It almost feels like the air is thick with souls back here. Hey, namaskar everyone, how are you? Hopefully everybody's been doing fantastic. Listen, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by and checking it out. I hope you're going to stick around. If you're already a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. As always, welcome back means we are on another adventure, and that also means that you're going to want to know where we are and what we are doing. We are in Tallmadge, Ohio. We are at the Monroe Falls Metro Park, which there's the sign right there. First time I've ever been back here. I've actually never knew this was here, and I started reading up on some stuff and I was like, hold on, that looks like a really interesting place, because kind of what our adventure is going to be today is based on the idea that a lot of things get lost or get forgotten, especially people that pass away. People stop remembering of even the history of things that might have been in a certain place, or people that might have been from that particular place. That is what our adventure is today. We're not walking a full trail, although it looks like it could be. We're going to follow this path. We're going to go down a little ways, and we're going to kind of talk about what used to be in this area and who still might be in this area from the past. Pretty interesting place that's going to be back here that actually I'm going to take you to. So if you are ready for today's adventure, I suggest you get off the couch, you get ready, let's go. We are right here. Right here. That is fantastic. Oh shoot. Look at all of them. I think they're ready to kick my ass. Harden saliva. You're okay. You're okay for watching my channel.
Jesus God, Mamma Mia, look what we got.
Shh. I said there's people still sleeping. Calm down. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. I told you she was afraid of bridges.
Do not stop it now.
That is the starting point of the trail. I guess. I don't know. You can start at the beginning or you can start at the end. I don't think it matters where you start at. But wherever you start, that's your starting point. Oh, shit. That's why I tell you, take a sip. History. Better Malanga. All right. Excuse me, I'm looking at all the birds that finally... There's some robins up there. There's robins. I've been seeing robins everywhere. Seen a cardinal when I first come in here, which was cool. All the leaves are back in session, as they say. Feels really good out here. It looks really good. But like I said, we are at the Metro Parks. This is the Monroe Falls Metro Parks. Couple trails here. Oh wow, no bikes. That's a little different right there. Huh. So let's talk about what I'm trying to show you and take you to. So this whole area, at one time, there used to be a home back here. There's the new county home. And it wasn't the original one though. But back here was the new county home. And what it had a hospital in it. But it was more of an old folks home. If you had any handicaps, mentally challenged, poor, it goes without saying, like just like in the past, some of these buildings and stuff like that, if you didn't belong in the normal world, you ended up in one of those kind of places. I'm gonna look right now. It's not a bad loop, and I think where I'm trying to go to is right over there actually. I think but this right here, I don't know exactly Oh, there's a, oh, nice goldfinch. There's a couple of them. 2 goldfinches in there. Sweet, awesome. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool back here already. So I don't know where it would have been, but we're seeing all this area back here. So the home would have been back in here somewhere, I would imagine. I don't know the layout of it, but again, it's where the old folks come. You would end up in a place like that. It wasn't the first home. The first county home was in Akron on Exchange Street. And there was a lot of rumors to go with that home as well. A lot of abuse, grave robbers. There were even stories of like the corpses being sold to colleges like really cheap to get rid of the bodies and whatnot. But the home that was here, the new county home that was here, was built in 1916. Well, it was starting to be built in 1916. So 1916 probably took a year, 1917 to be built. It opened in 1919, ended up closing in 1970 until it was actually torn down in 1980. But what is really interesting about this area, and you might have not, if you didn't know the park was back here. I mean, this looks like a pretty decent loop back here, actually. This is pretty cool, and so far the wildlife here is pretty cool, like the birds anyway. But if you didn't know this was back here, you certainly wouldn't have known what I'm going to show you back when we get into this corner. It is the new county home cemetery. Oh yeah, you hear all that, man? The birds up there. Oh man, wow, there is some nice wildlife back here. Wow, I'm just listening to all it. Wow. Yeah, this is where we're going back. These birds are great. So the cemetery is right here, real close, not a far walk. So this, what you're seeing is, this is a live time. So this right here would have been the cemetery for the new county home. Okay. This is maintained now by Summit County in the Summit County Metro Parks right now. And you wouldn't have been able to see this like it is now back in the past, because I think it was covered like with brush and trees and everything else. Okay, but now it's kind of wide open. This is more or less of a potter's field cemetery. Now if you know anything about what that means, a potter's field is just random people that were poor, that were not, you know, just random. This is a open plot of just people, unmarked graves just put in here. I think at one time it was marked though, with like numbers and things like that. Those were all gone, destroyed. The records were burnt in a fire. Now I said the home was torn down in 1980. That's not where the records were held. The records were held in like a different, like, kind of mill building, and that caught on fire, so there's no records. Now the genealogical organization, society, they still work on this, trying to find out like who's here, what's here. That just, they're trying to get a grip on, you know, any information they can here. But yeah, this is the new county home cemetery. Now the first thing you're going to come to is this right here, right there. Although exact information about the cemetery has been lost, incomplete cemetery records suggest between 1916 and 1952, more than 900 individuals were buried here and nearby. Some lived out their final days at the county home, others were too poor to be buried elsewhere, and some were unknown victims of accidents. Closed in 1970, the county home was demolished in 1980. So that's what I was telling you. And again, back then it with the home, like if you didn't belong in society, the normal society, you were put in places like this. And I've been to all those old hospitals, the jails and stuff like that, the mental hospitals. That's what that was. It's a shame here that we don't know everybody that's buried here, because it's just 900 plus people, just souls that we don't know, and who knows if we'll ever find out. But again, just because this is fenced off right here doesn't mean this was the whole area. This probably was a larger area. So we're actually going to be walking on top of just grave sites of bodies. But what we're going to do, I'm going to walk over. We'll walk back here because there's 2 gravestones over here that we can talk about, and the last one is right there where we'll end up, and I'll show you that. But I'm trying to get a feeling back here. It's not a bad feeling. Kind of a thick, empty feeling, actually. If you're kind of into vibrations and whatnot. But we're gonna go over here, and there's only 2. Like I said, they work on trying to find out, you know, records and who's here. And I'm assuming maybe the family found out, you know, about these 2 that are right here. They're side by side, or back to back. Costadina. I don't know how to pronounce that last name because that is Greek. Okay, and then on this side, we got John Keck. Now, I do know a little bit because I did research a little bit about these 2. And actually, by me researching, there is a woman, Nancy Hartman, I believe, and she's the one that, I don't know if she works for like the Historical Society or whatever, but she's the one that like found out information about these 2. Yeah, it's Nancy Hartman, I believe. Now this is John Keck. He was a German immigrant. As far as they know, when he passed away, he was a hotel worker. He was unmarried, and he passed away from chronic heart failure and dementia. So again, that is John Keck, and I usually always leave an offering when I come to these places. So an offering for you, John. Rest in peace. So 1847, 1935. Now, this one here, a little bit of a different story right here. Costadina, and again, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I do know a little bit about this one as well. So Costadina, and that is Greek. That is Greek at the bottom, so I can't even know that. Now, the burial records have it as Panos Casalina. Then her death certificate says Costadina Plerinos. Now, she did have a daughter, and on her daughter's death certificate, it's Christina Plerinos. So the story, well, I'm going to say Costadina. So the story with her is she left the Greek island of Zante. I think that if I'm pronouncing it wrong, you know, I give me some slack. But she left the Greek island in 1916. She couldn't read, couldn't write. She was married. She had one daughter. She was married. Her husband's name was Sam. And she passed away from chronic heart failure and dementia. It seems like that was the main culprit for some reason back then. But yeah, all that information was by Nancy Hartman. She's the one that found out all about that. But yeah, her husband's name was Sam Plerinos. So that's where I told you on her daughter's death certificate and on her death certificate, her last name was Planero. So I don't know how to pronounce that at all. I know Costadino, but that last name, it is Greek, so I don't know. So that, let me leave. I think I have it in my pocket. Let me leave another little offering right there. So those are the only two. Those are the only two gravestones back here. Now I think this gate, there used to be a gate there. It used to be closed. Like I said, now it's open to the public. So we'll take a walk around here, just to walk. And yeah, the feeling, like I said, not a bad feeling back here, but it's like an empty feeling back here, to be honest with you. And every now and again, I was looking around, and I'm seeing like different flags and markers back here. So I don't know if that's from the Genealogical Society, like if they're, doing boundaries, or maybe they found different grave sites or something and going to research that at a different time. Like, I don't know, I don't know what that marker is there, if that's anything. But actually, how crazy is that? It looks like a heart. Wow, that's kind of cool, actually. Wow. I like that fungi too. Those shelf fungi. So yeah, and again, I don't know. I mean, 900 plus people that are buried here, and we just don't know who exactly they are. There's another fence back there. Now, I'm not going to go walking around back here, but obviously there's some trails that go back in here. Huh. Yeah, conservation area. Wow, it's so quiet back here. You hear that? Yeah, it's sad when you hear these stories. When you hear the stories of the past. And it's crazy to think. Like, I know that the Trans-Allegheny lunatic asylum, that was another one where, and they did a lot of experiments and stuff at that one too. It just crazy to think that people could take you to these places because they thought you didn't belong. And I don't know about the home so much here, and that the original home, like I said, there was rumors that, the cruelty and the body snatching and the selling of bodies and whatnot is kind of grim. Oh man, I almost stepped in that. It's all swampy back here. I heard a train rolling through. Wow, the sounds of the birds are crazy. There's Casadina over there. Yeah, only 2 gravestones. What a shame. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this last one over here. And this is the main, not main, but this is the one of the main stones for basically everybody here. And this is kind of like really grim here too. So I'm just gonna move those back so you can see. I don't want to take nothing away. But right there, rest in peace, unknown skeletal remains, Summit County, Ohio. So yeah, that's really, it's creepy. It's nice that you know, they honor who's buried here, the souls that are buried here, but yeah, how grim. But I'm going to do my part and leave my little offering there. So if you come here and you park, this is live time, so I showed you exactly. This is 20 minutes in. I parked at the parking lot, walked a little path, so even if you came here and you wanted to walk around, and I may when I leave out of here, nice little path, and you come here to something you probably didn't know. Now it's easier to locate now than it was in the past, because you probably couldn't even seen this fence wouldn't have been here or whatnot, and this would have been just covered with brush and trees and whatnot, and I don't even know if these would have been here. It just would have been this field, an unknowing field of just souls. So I'm actually glad that I came here to see this, because I did not know this was here until I started reading some things, and I was like, I got to make a trip out there. Definitely got to make a trip out here, and I wanted to take you guys along. I'm glad I could show you this. I know a lot of you people that watch my channels end up going to a lot of these places to check them out too as well, so that just brings the history of these people to light and keeps them remembered, is what that does. So again, we're in Tallmadge, Ohio. We're not far from the fairgrounds, actually. We're in Tallmadge, Ohio. We are at the Monroe Falls Metro Parks here, and we are at the New County Home Cemetery. And again, this probably wasn't the whole area where they are buried. It probably goes beyond, way beyond more. This is just a known spot of it. And again, I don't know where the house would have been. That's all swampy, so I don't know if you could have even did anything on that. So the house could have been like further up that way. I'm not sure of the layout. But I think what I'm gonna do, if you look at my thumbnail, that would have been the house that would have been here, or the home that would have been here. So I want to thank everybody for coming on today's adventure. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel, leave a comment. I do read all the comments. I try to keep up with them. Actually, tonight I think I'll write a few back. They come in quite often, so I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. But until I see you on the next adventure, wherever that may be, verder Malang.